If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you'd know how much I enjoy interacting with you guys in the comments, and that is exactly how I came across a comment, one that changed everything. A while ago, my subscriber came up with a suggestion. He suggested I animate Mortal Kombat finishers. Now, I'm nowhere near the skill level required to pull this off, but I'm going to try regardless.
Fatality. Melina.
I know it's technically almost impossible to pull this off with my skill level, but I'm going to at least try. Anyways, time to open up Flip a Clip and get to cooking. Before animating, I'd need to plan out a short storyboard. Without this, I'd have no way to organize my animation. First, my stickman has to kick down his opponent. Then while he's in the air, he'll slowly coil up, then jump down, spinning till he slice opens his opponent with his sai. And in case you don't know what a sai is, it's a traditional triple-pronged dagger. Anyways, let's get back to animating. First things first, I'll animate the stickman doing a front flip with his hands, just like in the clip. Basically, she does a flip then lands on the body of her opponent right before jumping into the air. Seems like something I can pull off. If you're wondering why I didn't add backgrounds yet, well, sometimes I prefer to animate the character first to get the angles right. I then draw in backgrounds afterwards. After she does the flip, the next cut starts off with her in the air recoiling from the jump right before flipping down to finish off her opponent. My plan is to animate the recoil on threes so it gives the slow-mo effect. To achieve this, I'll simply animate him changing position slightly each frame and with enough space between them so it doesn't appear wobbly. Spacing can affect your animations, especially when you use the straight-ahead method. I wouldn't want him to appear wobbly in slow motion, so I made sure I got the spacing right. In this frame, she finally does the deadly finishing spin. I animated this part on 1s and 2s, and since it's really fast, I used smear lines to draw her spinning in the air and into her opponent. For the final move, she slides into the scene after spinning and slicing through the opponent. I tried to make it look as badass as possible, just like in the clip. After animating her moves, I went on to add heads to the stickman on a separate layer. Doing this helps me avoid mistakes when placing the head. Now up until this point, the whole animation didn't seem complex or anything, but the main part I was anxious about was animating the gore. You see, animating gore takes quite some time, and paying attention to almost every single drop of blood can really drain you when animating. But fingers crossed, I'll pull this one off as always. Adding in the heads took only about 10 minutes to finish up. After adding heads to the stickman, I went back to the blur effect as the stickman spins in the air. It makes it look a lot better. After animating the blur, the next thing to do was to animate the opponent on a different layer. I'd go with black for the dummy stickman. I animated the black stickman on 1s and 2s, and at the point where she jumps on his face, I animated him being pushed back in reaction to her jumping off his body. I animate him taking a step back with his hand swinging up, then dropping down, basically him reacting to the pushback. For the purple stickman, I duplicated the frames to give the slow-mo effect in anticipation for the spin attack. Then at the part where the black stickman gets ripped, I animate him wiggling while getting cut open. I don't blame him. That's a perfectly okay reaction to getting your body ripped in half.
I want to live!
Anyways, at the final scene where his body gets shredded as the purple stickman slides out, I animated his body parts moving in slow-mo just as we saw in the finisher clip. After finishing up with the character animation for the opponent dummy stickman, the next thing I did was to add heads to him. Nothing too crazy, just a big-ass dot. For the background of the animation, I didn't want to go crazy on the details or anything. I'm too lazy for all that, so I just went with something easy. I drew in a plain rock desert type background and added clouds on a separate layer. I think that's decent enough. After adding in the clouds, I went back to copy and paste the background into the other frames. Adding in the backgrounds took me about 30 minutes in total to finish. Once I had finished with the backgrounds, I went to the frames where she's spinning to add the weapons. I had to add the blur effect to them since she's spinning at high speed. Finally, I had come to the end of the animation, but this is the hardest part so far. At this point, all I had to animate was the gore. Animating the gore effect could make or break my animation, so I had to make sure I got it right. The plan was simple. At the points where he's being sawed in half, I'll animate the blood sort of spinning out, and for the end where everything happens in slow-mo, I'll animate the blood spilling out in slow motion too. Before I animated the blood, I drew the injury lines to the head of the stickman on a different layer. This helps to sell the effect of his body being torn open. I animated the blood spilling and the whole gore effect on ones. This gives a more dynamic feel since everything is happening so fast. It's kinda crazy how much attention you have to pay to the details. What's even crazier is that this just shows on screen for about half a second, yet it takes a long time to finish. If you're curious on how to animate stuff like this, be sure to check out the tutorial link in the description. I made a video on it. Anyways, I'll give you guys some time to enjoy the Gore animation time-lapse. Now at this scene where the spinning ends, I first had to draw the effect of the stickman's body being cut open, showing his flesh. Then I'd go ahead to add the same effect at the points where the stickman's body is ripped apart. To be honest, this is just too much for one stickman. How does Mortal Kombat come up with these gory finishers? After drawing the ripped flesh effect, I went back to the blood spilling out of it, just like I had done earlier. Trust me, this takes quite some time. I'm certain it took me almost 2 hours to complete this gore and blood animation. If you're a new animator and you're getting started, my advice for you is to be really patient and take it slow because animation definitely takes a lot of time. Now at this point where everything is happening in slow motion, I took my time to animate the blood on ones, then duplicated the frames to do the slow-mo effect. As always, I have a tutorial on how to do that too, so if you want to learn how to do it, check out the tutorial playlist with the link in the description. After animating the blood on this scene, I was pretty much done. All I had to do was export and edit my project. Now, before I show the results, here's a replay of the finisher I animated. Well guys, that's all for this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you really enjoyed it. You can also check out more stuff here.